Conference in Farmington. Find out more about the Outdoor Expo at OutdoorEconomics.com. KSJE is supported by the Farmington Civic Center, bringing a wide variety of live entertainment to the Four Corners. Country music, classic rock, and ballet, all on stage this fall. Also, on-stage theatrical performances of The Rocky Horror Show and the holiday classic A Christmas Carol. Find out more online at fmtn.org/shows. KSJE is proud to support the Outdoor Expo, a free event happening September 29th through October 1st at the Farmington Civic Center. See some outdoor gear and businesses and have a chance to win a free cataract boat or mountain bike. The Outdoor Expo is part of the New Mexico Outdoor Economics Conference in Farmington. Find out more about the Outdoor Expo at OutdoorEconomics.com. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them, whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury. San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is the last day of September 2021. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin, and thank you for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County, of course, 103.3 FM over the air in Durango, Colorado, and streaming everywhere else on the planet from our website at ksje.com, and that includes your smart speaker. Also, welcome to our viewers. This is a visual radio program. The video is streaming live this morning out to the KSJE Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter account. We're glad that you are with us this morning, everybody, because coming up, the beginning of our coverage of the 2021 municipal elections that are coming up, of course, in November. We have invited all of the local candidates in contested races for free airtime on KSJE. Some have accepted our invitation. Some we haven't heard from yet, but we're presenting all the interviews that we are getting to you over the next several weeks. And so this morning, we start with the city of Farmington and the contested race in Farmington City Council District 2 between Henry Silentman and Sean Scherer. You'll hear from both gentlemen this morning on KSJE, and then at 8:30 a.m., Linda Rogers will be joining me to talk about her race in District 1, and we have not heard from Ms. Rogers' opponent yet, and so we're only hearing from her this morning at 8:30 on KSJE. Mick Hesch will be here next hour, of course, roving with the arts, as he always is. Mick is featuring music this morning from George Gershwin, the Blue Monday Suite on tap for this morning. That's coming up today at 9:06 on KSJE. We invite you to connect with us on social media in addition to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can also connect with KSJE on our Instagram page as well. And if you're a podcast person, have we got a deal for you? You can subscribe to KSJE Podcast for free, of course, and we invite you to do that as well. And that is available, of course, on all of the popular podcast platforms, so we invite you to check those out as well. Weather forecast, it is a cloudy morning this morning here in Farmington. In fact, we are expecting a cloudy day today. We'll have definitely off and on showers throughout the forecast today. 59 for a high in Farmington. This morning, we are expecting an overnight low of 49 degrees with more chances for showers, of course. Then tomorrow, cloudy skies, more chances for rain with a high of 61 on Friday, 44 overnight. Then partly sunny skies on Saturday, 68 for a high, 46 overnight. More sunshine in the forecast for Sunday with a high near 70, an overnight low of 47. Sunshine on Monday with a high of 71 degrees. Continuing our coverage of the contested municipal elections that are coming up in November, of course. Joining me here in the studio, Sean Scher, candidate for City Council in District 2. Good morning. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Scott. Thanks for having me.
You bet. District 2, as we like to say, is kind of the northeast part of the city, but then it gets a little funky as the boundaries kind of shift and bounce around a little bit, right?
Sure. It's actually the west side.
Northwest, thank you.
Northwest side
yes.
of Farmington, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So we're basically from Butler Street all the way out past Troy King Road.
Yes.
Until you hit the end of the city limits.
Why don't I know my directions? That's silly. But yes, the northwest corner of the city. A lot of spots from basically 20th south and then west of Santiago, I would say. But then again, District 1 kind of cuts into some of that as you get down to downtown and that area. So anyway, but there's the map, everyone. Hopefully everyone watching us and listening to us knows what district they are in. And so you are running for re-election. You are a city council member.
Yes, sir.
And so talk to me about that decision to run again.
Sure. Well, we've been doing some really exciting things at the city level. And so, I think that keeping our team together right now would be an important thing to do. We have a lot of things in the works. And I think our team needs to keep together to see these things through, to make sure we're pushing along these projects, make sure they're getting complete.
Right. Can you give me some examples of some of the things that you feel are going in the right direction and still ongoing?
Sure. Well, I think the main thing is the San Juan generating station. So there's 1,600 jobs out there that we're fighting to keep. Also, we're trying to keep our electricity rates at a reasonable rate. So this is something that we've been a multi-year project, and we're just trying to keep the ball rolling on this. There were some hiccups during COVID when no one could be talking or meeting and doing those things. But I think we're coming out of this and we're coming out strong, and I'm still feeling pretty confident that we'll be able to save those jobs. I know if we were looking at trying to court a new business to come in to San Juan County that provided 1,600 jobs, we would do everything and possible we could to recruit those jobs. And so I think it's really important that, since we already have this industry here, that we really fight to do everything that we possibly can to save those 1,600 jobs.
Gotcha. And that's a big deal, and that's been, I think, what we've heard from the mayor and others on the city council during this whole process is to work towards that. But certainly that can't be the only thing, right? A lot of folks might say, but what about economic diversification and looking at other potential job creators and things along that line? Is that something, too, that's got your attention?
Sure, absolutely. I think it's kind of been the priority of the entire council, including the mayor, really pushing this outdoor recreation business. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we just need to get our piece of the pie here. We have beautiful landscape, we have beautiful amenities and parks. We just need to let people know they're here. I travel around the state and other places, and there's just not. The park systems here in Farmington are the most beautiful anywhere I've ever been. Pinon Hills Golf Course, it's consistently rated in the top 10 municipally owned golf courses. And that's another thing that we're looking at investing in again. That irrigation system and the cart paths, they're older than I am. So that's something that we really need to invest in to keep that asset. There's millions and millions of dollars in infrastructure out there if we just let that grass die.
Sure.
So it's really important for us to stay on top of that and make sure we maintain not just a nice golf course, but really maintain that infrastructure that we've really been invested in the last 40 years.
Right. Understood. And that, I guess, is some of the other maybe critics that might say, as the city continues to build these beautiful facilities and things like that, and is added to its portfolio from the golf course, the museums, of course, and now Dist Bay, Farmington Lake, all those other things, the maintenance costs come with all of those things, right? So it's important to kind of balance some of those costs.
Well, absolutely. I know with our primary job in the city council is to pay the bills, to come up with a budget, to stay in budget. There's a big difference between us, federal government, and state governments. We're not allowed to produce money,
right?
And so we have to live within our means. But also
ducat bucks. I still think that's a future in ducat bucks,
but
that's just me. Yes, sir.
And also we have to have a balanced budget. And so, we look at it from a business standpoint, at least how I do it. We've been down, every year I've been on the council, we were down 20%. So if we were a business, man, if it was my business, I would seriously be considering bankruptcy. But we've had to do what we had to do. I mean, we've cut the fat. We've cut a lot of meat. So, I mean, we're bare bones at the city right now, just like everybody else in probably the United States, but especially in San Juan County. We're hiring. We're trying to find employees to come work for us, and it's been a challenge recently. But yes, we definitely have to balance the building new infrastructure and the ongoing maintenance costs. And again, that's our primary job at the city council, is to make sure we're paying those bills and staying within our budget.
Sure, understandable. And looking at the bigger picture, I guess, too, of the whole region as the largest community in the region, the Farmington, I think, does take a leadership role sometimes in economic development and some of these things that we're talking about. But still, the city has spent on some big ticket items here, Bist Bay notwithstanding, downtown redevelopment, the Complete Streets project, and all those things. So it seems like there still is some room to spend on some big projects, but I think the city thinks that they're going to bring additional benefits, right?
Absolutely. The whole point of any of these is to bring more people into our town, have more people come here, stay in our hotels, shop in our stores, eat in our restaurants. We want to help the business owners and have them be successful, because if they're successful, we're successful. Without any businesses here, there's no money to spend at the city level. There's no services we can provide. So we really want to be as good of partners as we can with the private industry, and try to really make sure that their businesses are successful by building things like infrastructure and attractions that will bring people into Farmington. When we closed down the old Brookside pool, I mean, that was tough on everybody. But being able to come back within a year and have plans to build this water park now, and I think it's been a great success. I know personally, my 6-year-old daughter, it's her favorite thing in town. So this summer we spent a lot of time there getting sunburned, and it was a lot of fun. So I think those things are what make Farmington really a great place to live, work, and play.
You have a built-in focus group in your family, it sounds like, for things like that,
Absolutely.
to see how they're going, yes. Right? And Farmington Lake, too, I think would be another point on that list that brings people in from outside.
Absolutely. Opening up Farmington Lake for recreation, I think, was a great move. That was very early on in my city council days. Mayor Duckett was still on the council with me at the time. But opening that up, and it's just been growing ever since then. The attendance is up. We have future plans for other things out there. We're looking at maybe putting utilities out there, so then we could have, we've talked about tiny home cabins out there that people could rent, and paving some streets and really getting a good, not a track, but a path around the entire lake for recreation use, growing out the beach area. But it's great out there. I mean,
right.
It's especially during COVID, going outside, being in the sunlight, but still being able to be safe. That was a great amenity to have.
That's a future growth area, it sounds like,
Absolutely.
for this outdoor recreation. And again, we've seen the state has kind of got on the bandwagon. The county, it seems like all the communities in our area are certainly moving in that same direction. And it seems like strength through numbers, that if everyone has the same message, that really can be helpful for the public and for visitors who may be outside the region moving or visiting here.
Sure, absolutely.
And maybe moving here. I'm
the current chairman of the MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and so it's basically the communities in our community. So Kirtland, Aztec, Bloomfield, Farmington, and we get together and we talk about mostly transportation within the county, but we're also we were developing these four-wheeler maps so people know where to go. And get to these different trails and things like that.
Which we have an abundance of.
We have abundance of them. I mean,
right.
And so this is, I think it's a great idea to put them all in one area where people can actually find them. Because I know someone like me, I'm not a four-wheeler. I'm a golfer. So I know how to get to the golf course, but if I wanted to take my Jeep out and go four-wheeling, I wouldn't know where to go unless I had someone with me. And having this kind of resource that we're developing right now would be really big for especially people from out of town.
Sure. And I think folks may have noticed, too, some of the bike routes that are now labeled on some of the city streets, and I imagine that's part of this topic as well, right? That there's now, I think, maps of some of the bike routes through the county that bicyclists can use.
Sure, absolutely. So it was the same problem we had with four-wheeler trails. Unless you were part of that user group, you really didn't know where these trails were. Most people knew some of the big ones like Kinsey Trail, but there's so many more here in San Juan County. And also, we're having this Red Apple Rally coming up, and again, that's this weekend, I believe.
Yes,
and it's the longest standing mountain bike race in the United States. I mean, it's just another feather in Farmington's cap. We do things good, and we do them for a long time, typically.
Right, right. Talk to me a little bit about running for re-election and what makes you different from your opponent. You've got a contested race, so talk to me a little bit about that.
Sure. So, when I first ran, I ran because I wanted to make Farmington a great place for my daughter, and that's still my driving force. I don't want Farmington just to be a place that she grows up and moves away from. I want this to be somewhere that she's proud of, and somewhere where she wants to live and come back and work and be a part of the community. And I think we're making great strides to do that. When I was first elected, I didn't know what I didn't know. And that's, everyone comes in thinking with a specific idea, but you quickly learn that there's a lot of things that you just don't know. And so now that I've been on the council, I finally know what doors to open, and I know where the bathrooms are. But it took that first term to really get your feet wet and understand how things are working. So now, moving into a second term, I'm excited to be able to actually kind of implement some of the things I've been wanting to do, and really help out with the council. Also, I love being able to help the constituents of District 2. When people call me with issues, I try to get them resolved as quickly as possible. A lot of times they're not just an easy answer, but that's gratifying to me when someone has a problem and we can get together and we can find a solution for them. So.
Very good. Well, Sean Scherer, I appreciate you coming in this morning to talk with me about your campaign. If folks want to find out more or get in touch with you, a Facebook page, I think, right? Is that the best way?
Yeah, Facebook. It's Facebook /Scherer for City Council or SeanScherer.com.
All right. Very good. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. KSJE's coverage of the 2021 municipal elections. We've offered 10 minutes of free airtime to all of the candidates in contested races in Farmington, Aztec, and Bloomfield. My guest this morning is Henry Silentman, who is running for Farmington City Council in District 2. We welcome him to KSJE. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Scott. Glad to be here. Thank you.
You bet. Great to have you here, and congratulations on entering the race for District 2. And talk to me a little bit about that decision.
Well, it's a intimidating process to say, but I think it's a lot of learning about how to get into into the race and learning about what needs to be done but I'm always interested in Farmington, and so I thought I'd run and represent in District 2.
Very, very good. Well, congratulations yet again. We are showing the map of District 2 on the screen for our viewers who are watching, and so you and I were trying to figure out how you describe that district, right? And it's kind of northeast city limits, but it's got some weird boundaries, and so hard to really describe it easily.
So
without looking at a map.
I usually say it's in West Farmington, Harbor Hill area, west of downtown.
Sure.
It has City Hall in there, and the airport and part of La Plata.
La Plata Highway, right? Troy King Road.
Yeah.
Those neighborhoods.
Troy King Road, and then some of the South Farmington area as well.
Right, and kind of an area south of 20th Street to about Santiago, I would say, and then but then District 1 kind of cuts into it a little bit there too. So
yeah, and there's a carve out for the the hospital, and that's another district. So
got you, but that's what we're talking about. So that is District 2, and so talk to me a bit about some of the things that you want to accomplish as a city councilor. You've got a background in economic development.
I do, Scott. I have over 20 years of experience in economic development. First as a AmeriCorps worker back in the 90s, and then from there I went to a housing authority, and then as a small business development center in the Gallup area, and I've been working for the Navajo Nation economic development for the last 15 years. So I think my background is pretty much economic development, and that's what my blood's made out of. So
right. Well, and a lot of folks would say Farmington might need some more economic development as we look to diversify the economy. A lot of folks have been talking about that. Do you have some ideas about that?
Right. The city of Farmington, they're on the right track. They're promoting tourism, outdoor tourism. This week there's the outdoor conference, New Mexico Outdoor Conference, and they're highlighting Farmington as a travel destination. I think City of Farmington is doing a great job, trying to diversify the economy, and I want to, see how I can, help in that, that to that end. So
Do you think moving away from energy and extractive industries is a smart move? Or I know it makes some people uncomfortable because that's what we've known for decades and decades and decades.
well, energy, is oil and gas, and those are cyclical, type industries. And if the market's down, then the economy's down, and so you need other industries to supplement those, and manufacturing is a big part of economic development. That's the bread and butter. So I don't see why we can't have a manufacturing industry here in the Four Corners in Farmington.
So it sounds like you're not saying abandon energy, but add to it for the economic mix of the community.
Right. In economic development, you have, you develop in clusters and look at the industries that, can supplement oil and gas, like, petrochemical industries, plastics, they use the oil and gas. They use oil to, make plastic. So, there's no reason why you can't promote those industries along with oil and gas.
Understood. Some of our environmental listeners and viewers may be a little bristling about petrochemicals and plastics and things along that line. They much prefer, I would imagine, more outdoor recreation and fishing guides and those types of jobs. Is there room for them too?
There is room for them, but in economic development, those service type jobs, they're going to be lower paying jobs. But the manufacturing, if it's not, petrochemical, it's probably some other type of manufacturing. Those type of jobs, they're higher paying and it's better for the economy. I think there's a lot of room for outdoor tourism, and there's a lot of opportunities there, with supply chain shortages, and a lot of people, a lot of economic development organizations, cities and counties and states are looking to, bring a lot of the manufacturing that was done outside the country back into the U.S. So, there's a lot of opportunities there,
Right. And as with your background in economic development, I imagine some of the problems that this area has because of we don't have an international airport, we don't have an interstate, we don't have rail. There's talk about rail, but we don't have it yet. Is that things that work against us in terms of economic development and attracting investment here?
Well, in the internet, we don't have. We're kind of isolated. We don't have the interstate in this area, but we do have better roads that can get our products to the market either, and bringing in the raw materials for manufacturing. And there's a great push now to in cooperating with the Navajo tribe, and I think in terms of getting the railroad here, that's a great opportunity, and then working with them to promote tourism, it's a great opportunity.
Great. And I was going to ask you about that, too, because of your involvement with the tribe over the last many years, about more opportunities for the city council to work with the Navajo Nation, the Navajo Nation Council, the tribal council?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of issues that, neighbors to the west, there's a lot of problems, the issues, with, the inebriates that are in the area, and, these problems and issues have been, in Farmington for a long time. So I think, working to help mitigate some of these issues and work for solutions, it's part of what I want to do at the city council.
And as a member of the council, do you feel you could maybe help to give your fellow colleagues maybe some perspectives on these problems and how to maybe address them?
I think it's definitely going to help. A large part of the community, is so diverse, and having that representation, reflected in the council and reflecting, the community, I think it only helps the community.
We just have a couple of minutes remaining this morning. Henry Silentman is my guest. He is running for Farmington City Council in District 2. So in the remaining minutes, Mr. Silentman, tell me a little bit about what you want the voters to know about you.
Well, hello, Farmington. My name is Henry Silentman, and I'm a down-to-earth, leadership choice for Farmington City Council. I'm running for District 2. I'm looking to, promote the, representation and, welcome our neighbors to the west and, our communities that are in that are in Farmington. I'm also looking to diversify, how can we diversify the economy, to include oil and gas as well as other industries in the community, and then also talk about some of the issues that in Farmington, like broadband, looking at expanding broadband and making the best use out of the the infrastructure for the city. But thank you, Scott.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for coming in this morning. Good luck with the campaign. That is Henry Silentman. He is running in Farmington City Council District 2, my guest on KSJE.